Okay, you saw how democratic the social media team were. Well, we also, as organisers, want to be fairly democratic. So we'd ask you to put your hand up if you would like to continue the New Delhi Declaration discussions right through until about 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, there doesn't seem to be too much of a demand for that. But I can tell you that if everyone puts up their hand, or everyone wants to wordsmith, or everyone wants to highlight a particular point, or change the punctuation, we will be here until 8 o'clock tonight. And so this next session, to start it off, we hope you've had a chance to look at that Delhi Declaration. We're asking you to affirm it. And what that means is there anything missing? Or alternatively, is there a misrepresentation of something? So already, even from the written version you have in front of you, additional text has been added on hydrological functioning, on resilience, social protection nets, on biodiversity. So we may be missing out something that, if you like, excludes your work. We had an additional comment to the plenary just before the break that don't just think about trees planted in fields, we also have natural tree systems and enriching forests, and the connection between degraded and natural forests and agricultural land is as important as individual trees cultivated on boundaries. So what we'd like to hear from you, well, we'd like three things from the audience. The first one is, if you've got some really good suggestions on recrafting or something that would take you longer than 10 seconds to say, we'd ask you to give that to August Temu. If you have some written comments on the pieces of paper, please pass them also to August Temu. But in plenary here now, if you feel there's a missing concept, please stand up and introduce that. If you feel that something has been misrepresented or should be removed, please stand up and say that. But in about 10 minutes' time, we're going to ask the audience by affirmation to approve or to endorse or affirm the declaration so that we can hand it to the minister who's coming. That would be subject to any corrections, modifications, or suggestions that you have. So I'd now like to open it up for discussion, and those who do want to carry on until 8 o'clock tonight discussing the declaration would ask you to come last, okay? So any intervention has got to be 10 seconds or less so that we can hear from a lot of people and not have a 3-minute speech from somebody. Are we clear? Great, okay. So we have some roving mics, I hope, August. We have roving microphones, and we have microphones here. So I think we've given preference to this middle sapphire. So we're first of all going to go to this side of the room, so beyond the barrier where Ravi is, and Ravi's going to point out to anyone who has a new idea, something that should be removed, some text you'd like added. Please, to our right. The right seems happy. Ready to affirm. No one wants to stay until 8 o'clock? Okay, please go ahead. Can you introduce yourself? You'll give your name and your affiliation and your short idea.
Just a small comment. It has written that the government, we should support the government funding. I think it's more the public funding, including NGOs, international organizations. That small statement I want to correct. Thank you.
So I take it that you'd like to augment government funding with those other sources of funding, not remove government funding. Great. Other points from the right? Anyone? Happy? Please go ahead.
So I am Dr. Varadaraj from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Tamil Nadu. So, price intelligence, price forecasting, and market information system to be strengthened for conventional agroforestry system into a commercial and profitable business-based agroforestry models for future.
Great. Market information systems. Fantastic. That's exactly what we wanted. Little gems that we'd missed out. And apologies to both of those two areas. Anyone else on the right?
Good morning. I am Dr. Ilorkar from Nagpur, Maharashtra, India. My addition to the declaration is that in India, especially the government of India is supporting the education above the degree level only. Whereas we find most the rural masses, especially the farmers, they are interested to have a more knowledge of forestry, especially agroforestry. That's why the government of India should start the education at about the 10th or below the 12th, that is 1 year, 2 year courses should be started, and the government of India or respective state government, they should finance or fund to this noble cause.
Okay,
That's
great.
my
So
submission.
education and awareness needs to be strengthened.
Yes.
Thanks. I take that as a great point. Others?
Hi, I'm Tariq Masoodi from Srinagar, Kashmir. My suggestion is that we should fix a break-even timber price as has been fixed for the timbers of first choice in agroforestry species. And my second perception is that we must fix also minimum criteria to define a minimum height of the agroforestry trees to qualify for environmental benefits. And third one is that we should differentiate between agroforestry products from NFTs, as the first one includes the timber, while as the NFTs don't include the timber as a product.
Great, thank you. So price support and better definition on both forest and agroforest. Thanks very much. Thanks for those 4 comments. We can come back to you if other comments are not made. Let's go to the far left of the room, outside the sapphire, Roger. The sapphire is the internal one here. You're inside sapphire. You'll get a chance. Left-hand side of the room.
Thank you. Tony Rinaldo, World Vision Australia. And I'd just like to suggest on the line for women and men farmers and consumers to add herders and youth, and perhaps, I'm not sure the best place, but perhaps under for scientists and research institutions to add educational institutions, including schools. Thank you.
Great. Okay, thanks. Broadening the constituency groups. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah, I'm Ramni Jamnaras from ICRAF.
Are you inside the sapphire or outside the sapphire?
I'm between the two gems. So I feel we need to strengthen food systems. That's food security and nutrition. Actually, it's, I'm so sure, an oversight.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, see the tiles on the floor? If you're between me and the tiles, that means you're inside sapphire. The poor people at the back here who've been ignored all week, that's who we're focusing on, okay? First. Then we're going to come to the sapphire. So please, the poor people who've had trouble.
Hello. I am Samrat Mukherjee. I come from a development financial institution in India called National Agriculture Bank and Rural Development. I think these kind of Congress should have representation from development financial institutions as well as insurance companies, because when we look at agroforestry for smallholder farmers, these two play an important role where the risk sharing also takes place. We have this agroforestry for smallholders on a large scale being implemented in India, and we have a fund about 1,500 crores. So, I mean, those kind of things need to be covered in this kind of a Congress.
Okay, financing institutions instruments. Thanks very much. Any other comments from the back? No? Great, thanks. Now let's come to the sapphire. There's a gentleman here in sapphire.
Fabien Charbonnier, ex from CIRAD. I think the stakes from shifting towards an evergreen agriculture are so high that they cannot be achieved without any massive planification towards long-term objectives. And market is not sufficient for those needs.
Okay, so there is some language in the declaration on planning, but you'd like to include the long-term dimension of that, okay? So everyone else in the room has to be listening to these as well, because not only are you affirming the text in front of you, but these additions and modifications. Please come to Mike. Roger, you had one? Others, please.
I got the mic.
You know, I don't have a microphone, so if somebody wants to talk, you have to either go and find a microphone or go and get one. Please.
I got the mic.
Great. Speak.
All right, thank you. My name is Clive from the private sector in Kenya, and I think it's important that we make it clear the role of private sector. We had indicated during the proceedings that private sector would like to be involved from the beginning of research work and be involved right through so that we work as partners. And I think it would be good if we can capture it in that way.
Okay. I think it's there, but it might be a bit implicit, so we will expand it. Thank you for that comment. Roger?
In the third bullet in italics on the front page, where we're talking about special roles of trees, I think we should make the point more clearly about being a direct provision of food and nutritious products.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hello, my name's Paul Burgess. I'm leading a sort of major agroforestry research project in Europe. It's an observation that in a World Congress on Agroforestry and the support of the World Agroforestry Centre, that perhaps just to remind the grouping of the agroforestry work that's going on in Europe and in North America and outside of the South-South area.
Good. Okay, thanks. Yeah, the temperate dimensions, and also we know a lot of the work that's gone on in policy. Patrick Worms has assisted in the CAP and also in the 2030 emissions. So we can certainly make mention of that. Thank you for that comment, Paul.
Hello. So my name is Harshvardhan Deshmukh. Points as far as India and the policy is concerned. There should be some mechanism for a balanced partnership regarding farmers, public, corporate partnership. Then second point is trees grown on farms should be treated as farm produce, not forest produce. And there should be a separate mechanism for tree produce marketing. Thank you.
Great, thanks. So public-private partnerships in the definition of things. We're going to take two more comments from this group here. Hello, Christian.
Yes, my name is Christian Duprat. I'm the president of the European Agroforestry Federation. And I would like Paul Burgess, strain that we should not focus only on south-to-south collaboration. I think agroforestry is taking off really in Europe and the temperate zone at the moment, so we still should exchange a lot about that. So I think the temperate zone has disappeared in the last version. I would apply for incorporating it again. Thank you.
I'm Dr.
Okay, we've got time for literally two more comments, and I can see 20 hands. So, hey, somebody has really got to have a killer comment that cannot be just passed to August Temu to incorporate in the text. It's really important that we change some wording here. So these are the brave people who are going to have everyone judge them as to they've got the killer comment and they're not willing to let go for the minister who's waiting to speak to us. So somebody's got a really killer comment, and it is?
One sentence for mountains, considering the fragility and the ecosystem services provided by mountains, I request that mountains should get special thrust under agroforestry program. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, mountains was left out. Thank you. Fantastic addition. Thank you very much.
Just
Madam.
a very small one. I miss in the document long-term experiments that are not included. Long-term experiments.
Oh, right. Okay, long-term experiments. That is an excellent point as well for the scientists. Right. I hope everyone else in the room is going to... Okay,
Sir,
this
one
is...
more. I'm Dr. Joseph from Acharya Engineering Agriculture University. The farmers who are doing the agroforestry, the produce is to be actually treated as a farm produce, and the felling rights are very difficult here, and the farmers are feeling very uncomfortable to take up the agroforestry systems because the ministers are coming over here. This has to be included in their policy matter.
I think it is included if you read the text, and if you want any additional words, please pass them to August. Thanks very much. Okay, now,
Sir, one more.
what we're going to do... please, you're going to have to write, sorry. Okay, sorry to cut everybody off here. Now, what you have to do is we're going to ask everyone to stand up, please, in the whole room. Everyone has to stand up. Okay, and we're going to vote, and we're going to vote with our backsides, okay? So if you're happy to affirm... So could we pass the microphone to those people who remain standing, who are unhappy to affirm the declaration as it is with these amendments? And can you please be very brief and start, I am unhappy to affirm this declaration because...
Because I am N.N. Reddy from Krida Aikar, Hyderabad, India. Equality in terms of men and women. Gender equality is not given priority in this. And this goes only with land titling in tandem with IPCC. This is the briefest and the most important thing.
Okay, thank you. So Krida does not want to be associated with the declaration. The gender element is there. It has been asked to be strengthened, but we record that Krida does not want to affirm this declaration or be associated with it. Thank you. Others who also want to be in that group, please.
Todd Atri, Bangalore. I just noticed there is a missing category. I think there's a missing category of policy enforcers. There's policy makers and advocacy groups. I think policy makers either could be included, policy enforcers could be included in that category or as a separate category.
Okay, let me be clear. The exercise we just went through was we couldn't take all of the comments like that last one. So you're giving an additional suggestion, and the instructions is to write that down and give it to August, okay? And therefore, policy enforcers and certifiers and other agencies are not going to be missing. But in standing up, what you're saying is, I disagree with the declaration. Please take my name off it. I do not want to be associated with it. That's what people are saying. So do you want to be associated with it and you're going to give an additional suggestion? Your choice.
I'll decide later.
Sorry?
I'll decide later.
Okay, let's decide for you. Okay, and which organization?
Yeah, Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and Environment, Bangalore,
Okay.
India.
Do not want to be associated with the declaration.
Correct.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I'm Dr. Gaur from JNKVB Jabalpur. There's no point of difference as such with the points already raised, but it's regarding the for scientists and research institutions. S1, identify capacity that can be more widely developed, facilitate exchange for tree germplasm. If we're going for biofuels, Jatropha is a shrub. Shrub should also be included in that. And more precisely, the areas for second generation research, there are second generation biofuels either should be included. Thank you very much.
Okay, but carrying with the same theme, a gentleman had mentioned earlier in terms of the definitional side of forests and trees and shrubs. So you're not able to, through a suggestion to August through some text, you're not feeling satisfied, so you would like to disassociate yourself with the declaration?
No, very much associated with this.
Okay, then please,
Thank you very
take
much.
a seat. Anyone else? Okay, so we have 998 delegates who would like to affirm. Is that correct? 998 who would like to affirm. And 2 that would like to object. Okay? Sorry, another. Somebody's waving? No, okay, great. Okay, thanks very much, everyone. So give yourselves a hand because it is your declaration and your workshop.